Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast and to our deep dive into the strategic future of business efficiency.
It's great to be here.
Today, we're ripping apart a critical document that really should be mandatory reading for every professional focused on revenue. It's called Sales Trends 2026, AI, Automation, and a Consultative Approach.
And this isn't just, theory. This is basically the new operating manual.
That's a great way to put it. The core message here is that the playing field has, well, it's completely flipped.
That's absolutely right. We are no longer in a seller-centric world. We are firmly, and I mean firmly, in a buyer-led, AI-powered market.
So our mission for you, the listener, is to pull out the high-leverage changes, the things that directly impact your pipeline, boost your team's productivity, and ultimately your profitability.
Exactly. I mean, we've got research showing buyers are doing somewhere between 57% to 70% of their research before they even think about engaging a representative.
Wow. That's nearly two-thirds of the journey is over before you even get a chance to talk to them. The window of influence is shrinking fast.
Precisely. So this deep dive is all about the tactical response. How do we influence that tiny, high-stakes window? It really all comes down to speed and strategic depth.
Okay, so what are we covering?
We're going to analyze three major pillars for success. First, just accepting the digital rep-free buyer journey. Second, how to harness AI as a powerful active Copilot.
Not just a background tool.
No, an active one.
Okay.
And third, mastering immediate velocity through, speed to lead and structured multi-channel cadences.
All right, let's jump straight into the data. This whole shift toward the rep-free buyer.
Yeah.
It's a bit staggering.
It really is. What's fascinating here is just the sheer scale of the change in preference. Gartner reports that a colossal 75% of B2B buyers now state they prefer a completely rep-free option.
75%.
75. 3 out of 4 potential customers would rather use your website and your digital assets than speak to your team, at least at first.
Wow. That statistic alone, it just fundamentally forces you to reallocate resources, doesn't it?
It does.
It means your biggest competition isn't the other vendor down the street, it's the buyer's own internal research process.
Yeah, you have to assume you're selling to them without ever speaking to them, maybe until they're ready to sign on the dotted line.
And even if they do talk to us, the complexity is it's through the roof.
It is. B2B purchases today typically involve 7.4 different decision makers.
So the old practice of finding one champion and just pitching them?
It's obsolete. Outreach, when it happens, has to be multi-threaded. It has to address the pain points of the CFO, the end user, the tech validator, all at the same time.
And it has to be value-driven from the very first click.
Exactly.
Which I think necessitates a fundamental shift in approach. You have to move away from pitching features to solving specific measurable problems. So what does consultative selling actually look like in practice now?
It looks like surgical strikes, not cold calling. The key is intent data.
Okay, explain that.
You need to use search signals, account activity tracking, things like that, to frame the exact problem a business is researching before you even think about outreach.
So you walk into the conversation already knowing what their homework was.
Precisely. You become a trusted consultant, not just another salesperson trying to hit a quota. And the conversation is immediately about their bottom line.
The sources also stress that content is now the currency. Buyers prefer articles over ads. So how do we make our content valuable enough to cut through all that noise?
It has to be tied to measurable outcomes. Don't just share a feature list. Share a case study about a client who got, say, a 40% reduction in time spent on admin tasks.
Or a 15% reduction in compliance risk, something tangible.
Something tangible. That level of specificity proves you did your homework and you respect the buyer's time.
This raises a really important question. If buyers are doing most of their research digitally, if we accept this rep-free journey, what does the self-service design need to have to actually convert those visitors?
If the website is replacing the first call, it has to act like a tireless, highly knowledgeable representative.
So a truly frictionless digital path.
Exactly. You have to offer transparent pricing, clear packaging options, and, this is crucial, instant demo access.
No more request a demo and wait 24 hours.
No. Use guided tours, built-in ROI calculators, anything to move buyers forward without human intervention until they are absolutely ready. The digital path has to generate revenue directly.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit to technology. The source suggests AI is moving from being this, helpful background tool to an active Copilot.
Right, and it's not about automating the entire job. It's about automating the parts of the job that are just distractions.
So freeing up rep time for those higher value consultative conversations we were just talking about.
Precisely. It's all about surfacing the next best actions. For instance, AI should be auto-prioritizing your leads based on that intent data. It should be drafting personalized outreach.
And summarizing stakeholder profiles before a call, that's a huge one.
A huge one. And let's talk about reducing context switching. As a professional, you know that admin is the silent killer of productivity.
Oh, absolutely. Jumping between your CRM, your email, your calendar, your notes.
Yeah.
Just for one lead.
The AI Copilot is meant to fix that. It has to be fully embedded within the CRM itself. So it's capturing AI-assisted call notes, it's tagging objections, it's triggering follow-ups.
All without the rep needing to leave that one tool.
Exactly. The rep's only job is the human interaction. The machine handles the admin that follows.
And that efficiency, that directly feeds into what this deep dive calls the most crucial tactical advantage, which is velocity.
Yes.
Speed to lead. This is where it gets super practical for anyone listening.
This is completely non-negotiable for success in 2026. The psychological advantage of being fast is just immense. The stats are stunning.
What are they?
Replying to a lead in 5 minutes or less raises engagement rates ninefold.
Ninefold?
Right.
Just for being fast. Why is that?
Because the first vendor to respond, they set the terms of the discussion. They frame the solution, they build that initial familiarity.
They create a kind of psychological sunk cost.
Exactly. And the proof is in the closing rates. 35 to 50% of deals go to the first vendor to respond.
Wow. Even if their product isn't the best one.
Even then, that 5-minute rule is a competitive advantage that needs strict SLAs enforced across marketing and sales.
And beyond just the speed, we also need to optimize when we reach out, right?
Right. The research points to specific call windows. You should concentrate your effort between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., so pre-lunch focus time.
And then again later.
And then again from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's when people are starting to wrap up and get into follow-up mode.
And while speed is king, we can't forget email.
Never. Email still delivers a phenomenal ROI, something like $36 for every dollar spent. But your performance hinges entirely on mobile optimization.
Because what, like half of opens are on mobile now?
40%. So, practically speaking, that means your subject lines have to be short. 4 to 7 words, max. And personalized, you have to respect that your customer is probably reading that email while standing in line for coffee.
Okay, so we've established this need for digital speed and AI efficiency. Let's talk about the physical structure of the sales team, the hybrid model.
Right, and according to McKinsey, it is absolutely here to stay. This isn't just some pandemic hangover, it's a proven accelerator.
The numbers are pretty big. 9 in 10 companies plan to keep hybrid models.
And the data suggests this shift can potentially boost revenue growth by up to 50%. But, and this is a big but, you need clear boundaries.
So what does a winning hybrid channel mix actually look like?
It means you have to be virtual first for most of the sales cycle. Discovery, qualification, follow-up, all remote for maximum efficiency.
But you need guidelines on when to go on site.
Yes, very clear, measurable guidelines. The report is specific here. You reserve in-person time selectively. You go on-site for multi-stakeholder negotiations, for complex pricing discussions.
Or like a technical validation that needs actual equipment.
Right. And for leadership, here's the key metric. Every single trip has to be measurable and tied directly to forecasted revenue impact. If you can't quantify it, you should have stayed virtual.
And we can't ignore the hiring advantages here. Hybrid lets you recruit from anywhere.
Tapping into 30% more talent, it's a huge structural advantage.
Okay, moving from team structure to what individuals do, the source talks about this persistence gap.
This is devastating. It's where the behavioral data really meets the strategy, and it's a huge roadblock.
This is where reps abandon deals right before they're about to win, isn't it?
It is. 42% of reps say prospecting is the toughest part of their job, and alarmingly, 92% of them quit after only 4 attempts.
92%.
Yet the data shows most wins require 5 or more touches. They're stopping 1 touch short of the tipping point.
So what's the fix?
A structured multi-channel cadence. You can't just wing it. The advice is to set an 8-attempt baseline over 2 weeks. And this isn't just 8 emails.
It's 8 attempts with alternating channels and different value props.
The source gives a great example to start with. Email, then a personalized LinkedIn touch, then a phone call, leave a tailored voicemail, then a follow-up email.
Always be adding value.
And you have to recognize channel preference. You lead with email. That's still the 80% preference for general communication.
But for the C-suite,
For the C-suite, the phone is still critical. They prefer phone outreach 57% of the time, especially if you've already warmed them up digitally.
and LinkedIn isn't just for connecting, it's a credibility builder.
A massive one. It's so powerful that 31% of reps in the survey reported closing large deals without ever meeting the client in person.
Okay, let's connect all these pieces. The rep-free buyer, AI velocity, the hybrid structure. What it all boils down to is shifting the organization from gut feel to measurable revenue impact.
And that requires data alignment, a single, unified system between marketing and sales.
So leaders need to build a unified scoring model, one that blends, what, three things?
3 things. Fit. So are they the right company? Intent. Are they actively searching? And engagement. Are they actually clicking on our stuff?
It's like air traffic control. You don't just respond to every plane. You respond based on size, proximity, and fuel levels.
That's a great analogy. You prioritize outreach based on specific buyer behavior. Repeat visits to the pricing page, for example. That's a high-intent signal that triggers that immediate 5-minute SLA response.
And for managers, you need to stop focusing on vanity metrics. Dials made, emails sent.
Right. Your dashboards need to highlight coaching moments. You should be looking at stage conversion rates, cycle time, forecast accuracy, and crucially, you need to start tracking content influence by pipeline stage.
So you know which case study is actually moving deals forward.
Exactly. And the final strategic piece here is trust. In a world that's getting saturated with AI-generated messaging, trust is the highest value commodity there is.
And referrals are a massive trust multiplier.
The proof is undeniable. 92% of consumers trust recommendations from people they know, and those referred customers. They deliver about 16% more profit.
So you have to formalize the referral program. Make it effortless.
Absolutely. Provide short message templates, one-click share links, anything to remove friction from that process for your happy customers.
This whole deep dive, really, it's about making the buying process simple and fast for the customer and efficient for the team. But that requires discipline, especially with leads that aren't quite ready yet.
Right. You have to adjust expectations. The data suggests only about a quarter of marketing leads are actually sales ready for immediate outreach.
The rest need nurturing, and those nurtured prospects are incredibly valuable. They move 23% faster through the pipeline.
And they spend 47% more when they finally convert. But that handoff discipline, it's still critical. Qualification success drops tenfold after that 5-minute window passes.
So the system has to move instantly, whether it's a human response for a hot lead or an AI-driven nurturing sequence for a cooler one.
The system has to move instantly. That's the key.
So what does this all mean for you, the professional adapting to the realities of 2026? It's pretty clear that complexity and speed are the two forces driving this market.
The conclusion of the source material provides a really practical takeaway. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Right.
Focus your resources on the few actions that reliably create momentum. We're talking about speed, signal, and proof.
So the actionable advice here is to pick just 3 high-leverage plays from this report. Assign clear owners, set short deadlines, and then review your progress every week.
For instance, enforce that 5-minute rule across the whole organization, or standardize an 8-attempt prospecting cadence, or just integrate AI call summarization into your CRM.
Small, consistent work compounds, it really does.
The future of selling isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter and knowing exactly where to apply velocity and intent.
And before we wrap up, here's something to think about. Which stalled opportunity in your current pipeline might be unlocked right now simply by optimizing the channel mix? Maybe moving from a generic email to a targeted phone call, or by dramatically increasing your response speed. The answer might be sitting right under your nose.
Thank you for tuning in to this deep dive into the trends shaping the future of sales.
We hope this analysis helps you prioritize your strategy for the coming year and gives you the smart keys to unlock greater efficiency in a buyer-led market.
To continue gaining smart insights on the future of work and productivity hacks, be sure to subscribe to the SmartKeys podcast wherever you listen.
And if you want to dive into the full analysis and access all the specific metrics we discussed, you can find the link to the full article, Sales Trends 2026, AI, Automation, and a Consultative Approach, right there in the show notes. Until next time, keep thinking ahead.